Thank you, Mataji. The son of Devaki, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, cannot be satisfied by anyone's study of the Vedas, charity, sacrifice, pilgrimage, or vows as much as he is satisfied by the devotional recitation of the Gita. Okay, so this is another form of Krishna and Balaram. We call them Gauranga and Nityananda. Okay, so these are one of the other deities we have in ISKCON KL, Sri Jagannath Mandir, Kuala Lumpur. So this temple is in Taman Yal. So every deity we have different names. So they have their own name. It is Sri Sri Nittai Sundar Gaura Hari. Sundar means beautiful. Gaura means golden. Right? Sri Sri Nittai Sundar Gaura Hari. Okay, the one on our right is Gauranga. This is Gaura. This is Nityananda. This is Krishna. When Krishna, 500 years ago, Krishna came down as another avatar. That name of the avatar is Sri Krishna Chaitanya, or we call Lord Gauranga, Gaurahari. He came in golden color. And this is Lord Balaram. He came as Nityananda Prabhu, or Lord Nityananda, or Lord Nitai. So these are the names. Okay. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vikna Vinasha Narsimha Iti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we have offered our obeisance and respects to our spiritual teachers. So the program is dedicated to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Okay, so Gita Mahatmya. Ready? Who's in charge?
Okay, it's me.
I'm bringing up my, okay.
All right. Maline mochanam pumsam jalasnanam dine dine sakrit geetam ritasnanam samsara malanashanam. One may cleanse himself daily by taking a bath in water, but if one takes a bath even once in the sacred Ganges water of Bhagavad Gita, for him the dirt of material life is altogether vanquished.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So, we all know how sacred is water of Ganga, right? In chapter 10, chapter title Opulence of the Absolute, Krishna will give various categories of groups and living entities. So in each group, he will say that he is chief in certain groups. So among rivers, he will say, I am Ganga. He will say like that. All right. So that is how exalted and sacred Ganges water is. All right. So right now, we cannot go to Ganga to take a snan. Snan means bath, right? Okay. Has anyone been to Ganga, wherever it is? I've been to River Ganga in Mayapur. Okay, so you can share with us where else you have gone to take darshan of Mother Ganga. So, however, we are sitting here at our PC and we are taking snana, we are taking bath in the water of Bhagavad Gita. All right, so one may cleanse himself daily by taking a bath in water. But if one takes a bath even once in the sacred Ganges water of Bhagavad Gita, for him the dirt of material life is altogether vanquished. All right, Jala means water, Snana means mandi, bathing, Dine Dine, daily, Dinam Dinam, right? Dine Dine, what else? Mala Nashana, Mala means impurity. So in I think it's in pure Tamil, Malam is called impure. Impurity, all right? Nashanam, destroyed, all right, vanquished. So this is one of the most quoted sloka in Gita Mahatmya. So Gita Mahatmya is found in Padma Purana originally. It is written by a great personality called Adi Sankaracharya, his incarnation of Lord Shiva himself. Right, so that's why this Padma Puran, this Gita Mahatmya that appears in Padma Puran, I mean, he popularized it. It's very, very famous. Okay, so we are moving to our chapter today. Anybody can tell me what do you understand by the term karma? Anybody? Karma, what is your understanding generally about karma? What do you think? Okay, let's have few answers. Karma, an act, action. Okay, thank you. Karma is basically work, kerja, right? So there are three types of reactions to actions, work. Later I'll show you. We only know anything good that anything bad that we do, oh, I'm going to get karmic reaction. So there are categories, right? So we will learn that today. Yoga means union, right? Realization, self-realization. So there's a ladder to that. And karma yoga is at the beginning. Okay, 2.49. This is a recap from yesterday. Like I said, Krishna already touched on karma yoga here. And he will explain further here. Okay, so I'll read this. O Dhananjaya, conqueror of wealth, keep all abominable activities far distant by devotional service. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, stay away from abominable activities. In that consciousness, surrender unto the Lord. Okay, so basically we can see that Krishna is somehow criticizing fruitive work as abominable. He's categorizing the fruitive work as abominable and glorifies devotional service. He's comparing, he's making a comparison. Now, fast forward to this chapter. Arjuna somehow is still confused. Wait a minute, Krishna. Just now you said I need to, act with intelligence. And then now you are saying I should stay away from abominable activities. But at the same time, you're asking me to fight. So Arjuna is asking question. All right, so 3.1, Lata Mataji.
अर्जुना उवाच जायसि चेत् कर्मणस्ते मता बुद्धिर्जनार्दन तत्किं कर्मणि घोरे मां नियोजयसि केशव. O Janardana, O Kesava, why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare if you think that intelligence is better than fruitive work?
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank
Mataji, you are sweet as the name represents the person that I have heard of.
you. Thank you, Mataji.
Really sweet. Thank you, Mataji. Do you often say prayers, Sanskrit prayers?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Mataji. Right. So Arjuna is addressing Krishna as, oh, Janardana, oh, Keshava. Janardana means a person who protects everybody. So Krishna, Arjuna is addressing Krishna, oh, you one who protects everybody, why are you asking me to fight? Okay, why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare if you think that intelligence is better than fruitive work? So intelligence here is buddhi yoga. All right, if you remember this one, right? Buddhi, right? Intelligence. And then Krishna asking him to fight. And then you say stay away from abominable activities. So to Arjuna, this killing, this ghastly warfare is abominable activity. So Krishna, oh my God, you're giving me equivocal instructions. Is like a paradox to him. So if you think intelligence is better than fruitive work, then why do you ask me to fight? Okay, because Arjuna is thinking by using his intelligence, he is making a conclusion that he should avoid all abominable activities and thus not to fight. However, Krishna is urging him to fight. So that's why the chapter 3 begins with Arjuna asking question. He asks further. Jai Kishan Prabhu or Mataji.
Okay. Visrineva yakhena buddhidam mohaya shivami tak evam vada nishitya yena srivo hama punyam.
My intelligence is bewildered by your equivocal instructions. Therefore, please tell me decisively which will be most beneficial for me.
Thank you, Mataji and Prabhu. Okay, so this is what I mentioned earlier, equivocal instructions. So earlier in chapter 2, Krishna mentioned about body and soul. So that is Sankhya Yoga. And then he mentioned about Buddhi Yoga, work in Krishna consciousness. That means you work and then you surrender to the result, or you work without being detached, without being attached to the result, fruitive results. All right. However, Arjuna finds this has been presented unsystematically. So he's asking, so please tell me clear, should I do this or do that, A or B? All right, so it's working better, karma, or renunciation is better. This is what he's asking. So please tell me decisively which will be most beneficial for me. So in short, the answer that Krishna gave is work. He said, do your prescribed duty, isn't it? So this information will be detailed in the next chapter. Okay, so what is the application here for us? All right, remember in the earlier chapter, when you are in dilemma, you couldn't make a decision, you seek a guide. All right, so here in this sloka here, Arjuna is showing us how not to keep doubts or questions to ourselves. So actually, Arjuna is an elevated person. However, with Krishna's Yoga Maya potency, he is putting Arjuna under illusion. So Arjuna seemingly not understanding what Krishna is saying. In that way, Arjuna is helping us to understand Krishna's instruction more clear. So Arjuna is helping us with his questions. He is clearing the path for all students who want to understand the mystery of the Bhagavad Gita. So we always want to look out for someone who's more knowledgeable. Okay, so we can specifically take their advice, ask them what to do in a nice, humble way. There are ways Arjuna will ask questions to Krishna. I mean, the question will sound pretty strong, but the way he put it, we can take it as a very good example, and we can also follow that for ourselves, and we also can teach our children how to pose questions to teachers when we want to seek clarification, not in a challenging mode. So these are the things that, small things that we can learn from Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so conclusion is Arjuna is expressing his confusion and further asking, tell me what is beneficial for me. All right, so we move to 3.4. Amuta Mataji, or who's chanting?
Na karmayanam anarambam naiskarmayanam purushosute na cha sanyasan eva siddhim sangadati.
Not by merely abstaining from work can one achieve freedom from reaction. No, by renunciation alone can one attain perfection.
Thank you. Okay, so at one glance, anybody can understand anything here? Na karmanam. Na means no. Karmanam, work, not working. All right, not by merely abstaining from work means not working. Can one achieve freedom from reaction? So actually Krishna is being very clear here, but let's digest these 4 lines for a moment. So I will break that up, all right? So there are 2 parts here. So Krishna is telling, just by you abstaining from doing work, that means by you not doing work, don't think that you will achieve freedom from reaction. We always think when we do something, we have a result. So that result is a reaction. So what if I don't do my work? Which means I won't get a result. Is that logic? Does that make sense to everybody? Some people, they want to do, okay, so when we work, we get some reaction. So I might as well don't work, isn't it? Yeah, all right. So the next part is, no, by renunciation alone can one attain perfection. okay, I'm going to abandon everything. I'm going to release everything, and I want to go to Himalaya or sit under a tree or go into a cave, and I want to meditate. So in that way, I'm not doing anything, and I'm not going to get any reactions. So Krishna is refuting all of these things, because why? Because Arjuna was thinking, I don't want to fight. I want to go to the forest and have a renunciate life. I want to renounce this material world. I don't want to be a part of this political feud or anything like that. So Krishna is saying, I'm sorry, you cannot achieve freedom from your reaction because you're not fighting. Or even if you run away, you cannot get perfection. This is what Krishna is trying to say. All right, so I repeat, you just can't abstain from work and attain perfection. Okay, so basic understanding that we all have, like generally, like we Hindus, right, we know how karma works, right? Karma means reaction, work, and there is karmic reaction, karma and karmic reaction. So just by abstaining from work, you won't achieve perfection. So this is what Krishna is trying to say here. Why? Because premature renunciation carries no benefit. How can a person, for example, let's say a leader of the house, he is so frustrated, and then he said, I'm gonna leave my family and I'm gonna go pilgrimage, and I want to dedicate my life in the service of God, I want to achieve perfection. However, do you see that he's abandoning his duty that he's supposed to do? And that will give him reaction, right? He will never achieve perfection if he does this prematurely. So Krishna is refuting premature renunciation, which is what Arjuna wanted to do. Okay? Can anybody say stay without doing anything? Can anybody, like we are now sitting, right? We don't know how many ants we are, stepping under us. When we're walking, how many ants are, coming under our foot. We don't know how many animals we are killing. So nobody can say that I will be free from reaction when I don't do anything. All right. So we won't know. My grandma used to say, like we used to make so much of fuss when we see some small bugs in the food or something like that. Oh, why are you also be so fussing so much? Even when you breathe, you're breathing in so many insects. We were like, what? Like that. So you cannot help it, right? You cannot be free from the reactions. You'll never know. All right. So the application here for us is that the question always remains, where do we go? Because you cannot sit still. After this, you're going to think, okay, after this class, I'm going to have a dinner. After this class, I'm going to do this call. After this class, I'm going to do this. So you're always thinking, how can a person sit still without doing anything? Thinking that by not doing anything, I will be free from reaction. So that is not possible. Even if you want to go to Himalaya and settle there, what will you be thinking? We'll be thinking about our family, our work, what my children is doing, what my work is doing, what my money is doing. So the mind is always attached to things, even though you are physically aloof from that, but your mind is attached to that. And that is what Krishna is saying, there is no perfection, there is no use. Okay, so that way we can't attain perfection. So clear, okay? So we move to 3.8. Shalini Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Jnatam guru karma tvam karma jayo hi akarmana sarira yatra pichate na prasidyet akarmana. Perform your prescribed duty, for doing so is better than not working. One cannot even maintain one's physical body without work.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, yeah, so this is pretty straightforward, isn't it? Krishna never said surrender all your work and just come and pray to me, or go and do meditation like these siddhas are doing here. Why? Because Krishna giving very practical information that we cannot even maintain our physical body without work, right? So doing this prescribed duty got few benefits. Means if you are a mother, you have to serve your family, your children, your husband. If you're a child, you have to take care of your parents. You cannot put your parents in an old folks home and then you go out and do charity. Cannot. Charity begins from home. So this is what Krishna is saying. This is your duty you have to do. But by doing these prescribed duties, we are actually going through a purification of our heart, because That is also a sacrifice, isn't it? You are doing your duty, whether you like it or not. That is your duty. It prescribed for you. Like you go, you have some symptoms, you go to clinic and then you get medicine. That is prescription. If you have to take the tablet 3 times, you have to take tablet 3 times. Can I take one time 3 tablets? Cannot. All right. So it will not heal you. All right. And you cannot say, can I just take one? Okay, I don't want to finish the antibiotic. Is that okay because I feel better? No. Right. Okay. So first step, this engaging, us doing prescribed duties, it purifies our heart. All right. And it maintains a balanced society. So if everybody does their work accordingly, we will have a balanced society. All right. And of course, it maintains even one's physical health. That's what Krishna is saying here, physical body. Okay. Yeah, so why we are talking about this? Because Arjuna wanted to go to forest and lead a peaceful life and not to kill his family and friends. Okay, so back to the previous sloka, Krishna says, just by going to forest, you cannot attain perfection of life. Similarly, renunciation also, we don't get the work done. All right, it doesn't mean that you renunciate and then you don't get the reaction. Okay, so yeah, so this is what Krishna is stressing here. Okay, so we move on. 3.8. Sorry. Oh yeah, so this is the point here. I forgot to highlight this. So one cannot even maintain one physical body without work. So renunciation is not what Krishna is recommending here. 3.9. Sharmila Mataji.
Yajnata karmano nyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tat artam karma kauteya mukta sangha samachara. Work done as sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed, otherwise work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way you will always remain free from bondage.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay. So here, clearly Krishna is saying, you do your work. All right. So how do I be free from reactions, Krishna? So Krishna is saying, you do your work as a sacrifice for the Lord. All right. If you do not do your work as a sacrifice for the Lord, you have the result, right? So when you do something, this is all basically our attitude, our consciousness. We surrender the result to the Lord God. All right. When you do that, whatever reactions that you ought to get by doing your activities, your duty, it will not affect you. So what do I mean by not affecting? Karma reaction will give you good reaction. Karma means work, will give you good reaction and bad reaction. When you do things as a sacrifice for the Lord, you will have zero reaction. All right. So why this is important? Because when you do good, you get good reaction. When you do bad, you get bad reactions. And these reactions will make you to enjoy accordingly your good fruits or suffer based on your bad fruits. Either way, you will have to reap what you sow. Good or bad, you do good things, you're going to get the benefit. You do bad things, you're definitely going to get the reactions. So to enjoy this, sometimes one lifetime is not enough to go through this, to either enjoy or to suffer, right? Then that's why we're coming back. That's why we take different bodies. Remember the 8.4 million species of life we saw yesterday? So this is how things determine, our consciousness determine what kind of life we're going to get next. So this one we will learn later. What do we think at the time of death? We will get that form of body in our next life. So now back to this, Krishna is saying work done as sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed, otherwise work causes bondage in this world. Right? Whatever duty you're supposed to do it as a sacrifice to Vishnu. Like how? Example. Okay, like devotees generally, they cook vegetarian food, right? Vegetarian food is made of plants. Plants are living entities. So we are also killing, isn't it? So how do we escape from these reactions? So what do? We offer the food to Krishna. And the food will be sanctified or spiritualized or whichever term that you use. and we partake that prasadam. Prasadam means mercy. We offer as a boga, right? And we partake that, we are free from reactions of the food that we have made. So you get zero reaction. So this is one. Number two example is like whatever activity that you do in the house, like the guidance that we give the children and everything. So when you infuse it with God consciousness, that is a sacrifice for Vishnu. Okay. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction. And in that way, you will always remain from bondage. Remember yesterday I said in Sanskrit, repetition is allowed to emphasize certain things. Krishna says here, bondage. Here also he says bondage. Work not done for Vishnu will create bondage, but when you perform for his satisfaction, you will be free from bondage. So when we do a lot of things, we do a lot of sacrifice for family, isn't it? But when you put God in the center, then it will not give you reaction or bondage. This is what Krishna is trying to say here. All right, so the important point here is work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, do it as a sacrifice for me. Okay, because Arjuna was very worried about sinful reactions, remember? Yeah, so this is how Krishna is refuting or addressing one by one Arjuna's 5 sasdi, the reasons. And then in that way, you will remain free from bondage. Now I bring you to the type of karma and type of reactions. Okay, so listen carefully here, because throughout this Bhagavad Gita, we will have to repeat this information. So try to remember this. When you do sinful activities, what are sinful activities? So we want to understand that sinful activities, things are done against scriptural directions. If the Vedic scriptures say that you must do fire sacrifice or you must do good things, and then when you go and burn somebody's house, or you kidnap somebody's wife, or you kill unnecessarily, these are all things against scriptural directions, and these are sinful activities. And the bad reaction that you get is called vikarma. Okay, vikarma. Basically, it's bad karma, but in Sanskrit, it is called vikarma. Okay, and then you get karma, karmic reaction for any actions that are good or not negative. All right, work for which one incurs subsequent reactions. Say you do charity. So another day somebody would help you. Somebody will do charity to you. You help someone today, tomorrow you will get help. So this is good karma. So it's like you working and putting money in a deposit. So one fine day you will reap that benefit. All right. So until you settle your vikarma and karma, you have to come back again and again. So it might not end in one lifetime. All right. So that's why sometimes you will see somebody is born in very nice educated family, in rich family. This is all because their past reaction. They have done a lot of good things in the past. So that's how they have nice life. So the intelligence here that we should have is we should utilize this facility and try to advance ourselves spiritually. Now, remember Krishna say, if you do work for Krishna, for Vishnu, you will be free from bondage, and that is referring to akarma. Akarma basically means no action. I'm so sorry, this is in white color, it should have been black. This is not my slide. So, okay, this is no action, akarma. Nothing, no reactions. This is what Krishna is saying. Devotional activity. So what kind of activity will free you from bondage? Devotional activity for which one suffers no reaction. Because when you do activity for God, that is called devotional activity. We do have Mataji. We have later. We will go through that. All right, but that is not the ultimate concern, because I have to go to the chapter to make you understand that. So these are heaven and hell. They are still under material planet. Okay, we will come to that, so don't worry. Okay, just to answer your curiosity, now let's say we do a lot of good things, right? We do a lot of charity, or you do even when you do like really good meditation or yoga, you will be elevated after you die. You will be elevated to heavenly planets or yogic planet or tapaloka. Tapaloka means is a planet where all those orang yang bertapa go after they die. All right, and then there's Siddha Loka, and then there is ancestors Loka. So all these lokas are higher planetary system above Earth. Now there you will take birth, but these places are free from misery. You don't have problems there. All right, because you have done a lot of good things and you're allowed to enjoy in heavenly planets. All right, like I say, you have deposit in bank, so you can enjoy. You will enjoy until your credit is exhausted. Okay, there'll be a lot of enjoyments there in heavenly planets. However, up to Brahma Loka, later this one we will come also, Krishna will say, Brahma Bhuvana Loka, he will say. That means everywhere in this material planet up to the Brahma Loka. So Brahma Loka is where it is the planet of Lord Brahma. So Krishna will say, up to Brahma Loka, the highest planet in material world, repeated birth and death takes place. Now, when you finish all the Brahma is a position, like, okay, I think I'm telling you a lot of things which I have to tell you later. But what I'm trying to say is, even when you go to the heavenly planets, birth and death take place. So what happens after you exhausted your pious credits? You will have to come down to earth. When you come down to earth, this is where you will take birth in a rich family or educated family or righteous family. You know, righteous family means very cultured, this kind of family. All right, and sometimes you see, right, some people like born musicians like that. So this is because the impressions from the last births, they have done something, right? So it carries on. Like I answered somebody's question today. Somebody asked, can soul have memories from life to life? Yeah, these are called impressions from the last life. The consciousness is brought on, like how the wind carries aroma from flowers, like that. Okay, so I hope that's okay, Mataji. It's actually interesting topic. Moksha means liberation from birth and death. That means you advance to spiritual sky, spiritual world. Right? That is moksha, liberation. Okay. And there are three kind of, actually there are four kind of liberation. But for Bhagavad Gita, this level 1, we can tell that is a liberation at Brahman level, Paramatma level, and Bhagavan level. So we will come to that later, okay, with some examples. All right, so looking at the work, prescribed duties. Look at this guy. He's having knife in his hand. What do you think? What do you think he's up to? Can somebody tell me what you think he's up to with his hoodie, you know, with knife in his hand? He's got a knife in his hand and he's going to do one kind of work. Yeah, he's probably going to murder somebody. He's going to threaten somebody. He's going to rob somebody. Now the same knife is in these people's hand. What's the difference? What's the difference, Mataji and Prabhu? Saving lives. Yes, correct. It is the same work, same weapon this person is using. This person is using. But what happens when he does why is he doing this? Basically, why is he doing this? And why they are doing this? This person is doing because for sense gratification, isn't it? And what will be the result for this? What will the result for this activity? Punishment. And what will be the result for this activity? You get reward. That's the difference. They are using the same weapon, but the weapon in this person's hand turns out to be bad. But the weapon in this person's hand turns out to be good. All right. So like this, there are laws of nature that we should not go against. All right. So similarly, all right. So now we change this, doing for ourselves and doing for God, Krishna. When we do for ourselves, we get punishments or reaction, whereas we will be rewarded by Krishna consciousness or spiritual advancement. That's that. All right. When we do it for our senses, it is karma. When we do it for satisfaction of Krishna, it is called prema. Okay, when you do it for Vishnu, you will not be bonded, or else you are bonded. So I have another example here. So what we see here, what is common in both the pictures? Can somebody tell me? What do they have in similar and what is different? What are these guys doing? What are these guys doing? Okay, so the weapon is similar thing. How about their action? How different are they? Same weapon, different motives. So, okay, so what will happen to these people when they got caught? Army with guns, terrorists with guns. That's the difference. If army man kills, he will get, what will he get? Rewarded. The terrorists, they will be hung, right? They get punishment and they get reward. So basically, if we are here, then we will not be bound by the reaction of this. They are also killing, isn't it? Arjuna was afraid that he's going to kill people and he's going to suffer sinful reaction. But is anybody going to hang them because they kill the terrorists? No. So similarly, that is that example. All right. So if you want, if like just like how one works as per the rules of government, one is not disturbed, right? Their work is not disturbed, their life is not disturbed by the government. So here, Krishna is the head of the government of universal affairs. He is the controller of the material nature. So that is why we are encouraged to do work as per Krishna's rules, right? So there won't be any reactions. So that is the understanding. Thank you, Mataji, for the response. 3.14. So ignore this revision here because I use this for level 2. Suhashini Mataji. Mataji, you're there? Yeah, you're there. Are you able to unmute? Suhasini Mataji? Do you have audio issue? You can put in the chat, then I can read for you. Okay, never mind. It's okay, I think Mataji is busy. Annat bhavanti bhutani parjanyat anna sambhavah yatnat bhavati parjanya yatnat karma samudbhavah. All living bodies subsist on food grains which are produced from rains. Right? We are eating grains, isn't it? So where the rains coming from? In the crops. So how the crops grow? Because of rain. Okay. Krishna is teaching us science. Rains are produced by performance of yagya. So yesterday somebody asked, what is yagya? Yagya is, oh, it's okay, Mataji, no problem. All right, so rains are produced by performance of yagya, sacrifice. Yagya means sacrifice, and yagya is born of prescribed duties. So again, Krishna is talking about duty. So before this, in 3.11, Krishna will say that the devas, the devas, right? There are so many elements in this material world, like rain, water, sunlight, moon. It seems that even every part of our body is ruled by a particular deva, a deity. All right. So how do we create a right balance? We need to have a life which is very harmonious with them. That means they are taking care of us. Okay, they are giving a lot of things, like they are giving rain here, grain and everything. So how do we give back? We need to give back, isn't it? When you buy something, you pay money. So we are taking right now all from the nature free of charge. So how do we pay back? We pay back by performing yagya. Okay, so that is why sometimes you see if people perform yagya. All right. So in the Vedic scripture, Krishna is quoting the Vedic scripture has recommended various sacrifices to please the devas. So when you do this, you will create a total harmony. Well, basically, earlier Krishna said that do everything in sacrifice for Vishnu. So later he will say for those who are not able to do for Vishnu, then you should do it for the devas. All right. So the best is to do for Vishnu. However, if you can't do that, then do for the devas. All right. The important point here is that at least don't do only for yourself, which means we are not going to take. We cannot keep taking. We have to do for others as well. So that is a cycle. Okay. All right. So you can, it's like we have a choice to do directly for Krishna. All your activities dovetail in Krishna consciousness. However, if you can't do, then you do for the devas. Okay, so the example here given is that you have a tree, a plant. You don't pour water on the leaf separately, on the flower separately, on the fruit separately, on the trunk separately. You pour water on the root. So when you water the root, the water reaches all part of the trees. So like that, that is what Krishna is recommending. However, if you can't, then you do sacrifice for the devas. So at least do not keep it for ourselves. All right. So yajna means offering or sacrifice, and this yajna is born of prescribed duties. Okay, so you perform yajna, you get rain, the rain gives you grain, and then the grain we are consuming, right? And then we also do the sacrifice. All right. Okay, so this is how practically Krishna has been giving a lot of guidance to us. Okay, so there I can't really recall one of the four Vedas. One Veda will talk about all these activities, right? So Vedas are basically it is a handbook for us. If you know, Vedas cover a lot of things: politics, economy, social, medicine. I think Atharva Veda talks about Ayurvedic. So these are the information in the Vedic. So these are our handbook for mankind. Okay. 3.21, Divya Mataji.
यात्याताचरते श्रेष्ठस्तत्तत् एवेतरो जनः सा यत्प्रमाणं कुरुते लोकस्तदनुवर्तते. Whatever actions a great man performs, common men follow, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, this is a very good leadership talk by Krishna. Now you can see, okay, how many of you are leaders in your own unit? Okay, if you are a leader in the house, yes. Sometimes you are the leader of your society or committee. What else? You can be a boss, of course. You can be a boss in your unit or a section head. For parents, we are leaders for our children. So whatever we do, they follow, isn't it? All right. Sometimes we tell them something, but they will not listen, but they will do only what we do. So they get inspired in that way. All right. Here, what Krishna is telling Arjuna, if you run away from the battle of Kurukshetra, you know what people will say? People will not say that, oh, you are such a very kind-hearted person. You don't want to kill your relatives. They won't think like that. They will think that you have ran away because you are coward. You are a warrior. You are a Kshatriya. So if you do this, all the people who have been adoring you, they will also flee the battlefield. All right. And whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. All right. And whatever standards he set by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. So we have some leaders here. This is Lincoln, right? All right. Some people adore him, follow him, and then a lot of people follow Mahatma Gandhi, and then we have Nelson Mandela. So these are our world leaders. All right. So what our leaders from Vedic scriptures are saying? We have Lord Ram. He was a perfect king. He was a perfect husband, perfect son, a perfect brother, a perfect friend. Everything is so perfect about him. However, he still had to live a life to show example to people. All right. So it was said that he was already ready to be thrown to be king the next day, and then that the whole drama happened, and between Dhritarashtra and Kaikeyi, right? And then he was sent to 14 years to the forest. He did not revolt or say, how come you are sending me to the forest? I'm supposed to be the king. Not a word. He listened, he obeyed, and he went. Not a word in protest. So that kind of good example that he set. All right. And what to speak of Lord Ram or these leaders? And we also have examples by Krishna. Krishna, he is so rich. He was a king. He's the supreme lord himself, and he is driving the chariot for Arjuna. All right, so he is renounced in that sense. There is no ego problem or image problem, and it's public, hundreds and millions of armies there. He was driving the chariot for Arjuna. Okay, let's give another example of Krishna. Okay, you know the story. This is Sudama. This is Krishna. Right, so Sudama was Krishna's childhood friend, classmates. However, he remained poor. He's a poor Brahmana. So one day he came visiting Krishna. So you see how Krishna is treating his guest. He's washing Sudama's feet. All right, so Krishna is showing us the humility that we should have when we serve people, when we have guests to our house. Our there is a saying, right? Yes, Mataji. So there is a saying that Atiti Devo, something like guests are God, right? Atiti Devo, something, right? So this is in our culture, right? We treat guests like God. So in another incident, another occasion, I did not get the exact image, but this is an image where Yudhishthira Maharaj is the eldest of the five Pandavas, right? Yudhishthira. And he had a Rajasuya sacrifice. It was a very grand sacrifice. They call it Rajasuya sacrifice. So in that Rajasuya sacrifice, everybody had a role to do. Some has to take care of the jewelry, some has to welcome the guests, like that. So guess what role Krishna took? Krishna took the role of washing the feet of the guests who come to the Rajasuya sacrifice for the event, for the function. All right, so here, of course, Yudhishthira Maharaj seating Krishna on a throne and washing his feet. However, Krishna did the seva of washing the feet of all the guests. So here, Krishna is showing such a great example. We also should follow that. So the conclusion here is that Krishna is telling Arjuna that do your duty for the sake of, at least when you do, people will follow you. You will set a good example. One time my friend told me that the boss told her, don't do what I do what I say. Then I told her, please print out this translation and stick it on your office wall. Right? We don't want to be a mere boss, we want to be a leader. So a leader leads by example, isn't it? So it comes from here, Bhagavad Gita. Krishna said that. Okay, so we move on to this. So there are different prescribed duties given for different ages. So you all know there are 4 ages, right? We have a golden age, silver, iron, something like that, a copper, something like that, right? This is iron age, right? So first yuga is called Satya Yuga or Krita Yuga. In Krita Yuga, the prescribed duties for general mankind is to do meditation. What is this prescribed duty about? It's about how to achieve a self-realization, God realization. So those time, Satya Yuga, people lived 100,000 years. 100,000 years, so they can have meditation for thousands of years. Those days, Siddhas, they meditate for very long and they get the perfection. They meditate on Vishnu, okay, Krishna. All right. So the next yuga is Treta Yuga. So in the Treta Yuga, the prescribed duties recommended for people during that age is to perform fire sacrifice. So at that time, the milk was pure, the ghee was pure, the brahmanas were pure, the mantras are pure. You know what kind of sacrifice they do? They actually, when they sacrifice animal, it's to test the power of their mantra. And after that, they bring back the animal. They do not sacrifice it like gone forever, right? So they will sacrifice like that. I have also heard that when they sacrifice a horse, they will bring it back as a human. So that was so powerful at that time. So now we have everything so contaminated. So fire sacrifice is not the best prescribed method for this age. Okay, Satya Yuga, meditation. Treta Yuga, fire sacrifice. Okay, important. Yeah, this one also will be touching like throughout the Bhagavad Gita. The third is Dwapara Yuga. Okay, Dwapara Yuga is where the best practice was build temple and worship deities. All right, because people are getting shorter life. Here people live for 100,000 years. Here people live for 10,000 years. People here live for 1,000 years. All right, so that's why in Mahabharata they are generally everybody is like more than 100 years, right? Even Krishna stayed on earth for 125 years, but however he remained young, he never gets old. All right, so this is deity worship in Dwapara Yuga. So what is the best method of self-realization in Kali Yuga? It is called Nama Sankirtana. It's simply chanting the holy name. In which manner? In congregational manner. Thank you. Yes, Sharmila Mataji. Congregational chanting. So this is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. So the verse goes like this. Kritaya dhyayato Vishnu. Kritaya dhyaya. Krita dhyaya. Dhyaya means dhyana. Tretayatam yajato makhe. Treta means during Treta Yuga is yaja. Yaja means yajna, fire sacrifice. Dwapara paricharyayam. In Dwapara paricharyayam means deity worship, building temples. Kalau tadhari kirtanai. Kalau means Kali Yuga. So in Kali Yuga, the best method is dhari kirtana. Kirtana means kirtan, like what we did earlier before the class. Sharmila Mataji helped us, right? So it is mentioned that whatever result that you get by doing dhyana in Satya Yuga, whatever result that you get by doing fire sacrifice in Treta Yuga, and whatever result that you get in Dwapara Yuga by doing deity worship, that result you will get in this yuga by simply performing Sankirtana Yagya. Okay, so that's that. And we can't do Yagya like before because the people are not pure. All right, you have people doing all kinds of nonsense activities and coming and performing puja, so there is no purity. Purity is the force. Purity is what the people in Treta Yuga had. All right, so we don't have that. We don't have cows in our house to get pure milk. So everything is contaminated. Sometimes you even call it blood milk. All right, ghee is not pure. Everything is not pure. Okay, so simply, and how many people can afford to do fire sacrifice? How many of us can go to a forest or cave and sit and meditate? Or how many people can afford to have deities in the house or build temples? Can we go to temple every day? We can't now, especially now in this situation. Can we go? We cannot go. All right, but what we can do is we can sit here and just chant. All right, but we cannot go out and do chanting, so we can stay home and chant. Okay, so in Bhagavatam 11.5, Divya Mataji read already, right? So now Vaishnavi Mataji, please read Mataji.
Mataji, I'll try my best. Krishna Varnam Tusakharsnam Sangupasya Parsadam Yatni Sankirtana Praye Yajanti Haisu Saha. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, it's Krishna himself. He's accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, if you want to know what is this book called Srimad Bhagavatam, so I want to tell you two differences between these two books, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita is given by Krishna. Krishna himself spoke Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavatam is a set of 12 cantos. Okay, it's 18 books. One canto is like this big. I have one at my back behind there. And this is about Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is by Krishna, Bhagavatam is about Krishna. Okay, so that's clear. So here in Bhagavatam, Canto 11, chapter 5, verse 32, it is mentioned, in future, this Bhagavatam was written by Vyasadeva thousands of years ago, exactly like 5,000 years ago. So at that point of time, Kali Yuga just started. Kali Yuga started when Krishna left the spiritual world. So at that point of time, Vyasadeva already predicted, all right, in the age of Kali, like now, this is Kali, right? Intelligent persons perform congregational chanting. Okay, Mataji, I will come back to you. Okay, there's a question here. Do I need to have any qualification, like I need to be vegetarian, or is there any other qualifications? The best part here is that there is absolutely no qualification. You don't have to do, you don't have to go to forest or cave to do dhyana. You don't have to have qualified Brahmanical qualification, you know, learn the mantras to do your yagya, or you have to build temple. So absolutely no qualification. The only blessing, you know, Kali Yuga in Bhagavatam, there are so many symptoms given for Kali Yuga. These people of like what I think like last 2 days I mentioned also so many qualities of Kali Yuga people. But one good thing about this Kali Yuga is that you don't have to have any qualification, because with this chanting itself will give you all qualification. It will purify you from within. All right, so let me finish this. In the age of Kali, so it is predicted that in the future, in the Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting. So what does it mean by congregational? Group, ramai ramai, chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sing the names of Krishna. So if you remember in the beginning, I showed you two deities, Gaura and Nittai. Okay, so Krishna appeared as Gaura, Lord Gauranga, 500 years ago, and he came down simply to give this holy name to everybody to chant, because he knows there is no other way. All right, constantly sings the name of Krishna. And when he came down, he came in golden form. All right, that's why it is mentioned here in Bhagavatam, although his complexion is not blackish. So we all know Krishna is blackish. So he did not come in black color. All right, he is Krishna himself. Now, whenever Krishna comes, he always comes with his entourage, his associates. All right, he's accompanied by his associates. These are his friends here. Servants. Okay, the person here in the yellow, that is Gauranga. All right, Krishna in Gauranga form. Associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Very confidential companions. Weapons, some say his beauty is that weapon. He mesmerized everybody with his golden complexion. He was so beautiful like that. And some say the weapon is the Maha Mantra itself. When he came down, when he was giving the mantra, it was initially was chanted as Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. But you know, the Brahmanas there, they were like they protest. How can you give a mantra which is so special for the Brahmanas to everybody? Because Lord Gauranga was freely distributing the Maha Mantra. Then he said, okay, so you are saying I cannot give Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare, right? Okay, I'm going to change it. Now everybody can chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So now this mantra is different from what you're saying, and you cannot stop everybody from chanting. So this is the mercy that Gauranga brought down to earth 500 years ago, and this is what we also want to encourage everybody to do. All right, so that's it. We will recap. So it's 8:30 already, I'm sorry. So initially we covered Arjuna asking clarification to Krishna. Whether should I do work or renunciation? Then Krishna answers, don't artificially renounce, or don't prematurely renounce, because either way you will not get peace or perfection. Okay, so that is not the way. All right, why? Because the perfection is not in renouncing. The perfection is where all your activities dovetailed in work for God. Okay, how to do work as sacrifice for Vishnu? Why? Because it will not cause bondage. Remember, vikarma, akarma, karma. So this is akarma. Okay, so that way you will not be attached to the result. So what do you do with the result? You offer. Okay, a practical thing. You want to drive back home every day by hearing something, right? You want to meditate on it, right? It's like how we are working, right? We are working, we are earning money. So you can give some money for some Krishna service, like you want to give to temple, or you want to, sponsor some prasadam, or you want to buy some Krishna book. Well, this is called offering the result to God. Okay, so you're not keeping everything to yourself, right? So that's that. And next is, remember the rain, grain, everything. So doing prescribed duties is performing sacrifices. And then we have different sacrifices for different yugas. So you remember Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. Finally, what is the best sacrifice for Kali Yuga is the chanting of the holy name. All right. So there were incidences where somebody came to Prabhupada and said, I heard when you chant loudly, perform congregational chanting, it will rain. Is it true? So actually they did the congregation chanting and it rained. So there were two incidences like that. One is in Fiji, another one is in Hyderabad. All right. Okay, so I would encourage you all to get a Gita on your own, all right? Get a big one, okay? Small one is too tiny. It's very eye straining. So the way to order is, I'm not sure if you can scan this. Anybody has tried to scan this and it works? Please let me know if it works. Otherwise, I can share you the contact number of this person, right? And you can send message to this Prabhu and he will arrange your postage. All right. So I hope you can get one Gita for yourself, or you want to get extra and you want to gift your friends. It's also good. All right. And please do your quiz. I noted that not everybody did your quizzes. Okay, so please do your quiz. It will be calculated for your certificate. Okay. And that's our temple. Any questions, Matajis and Prabhus? The scan works, right?